Well, let's start with my younger days. I was brought up by migrants from Pakistan. Parents had moved into India from there during the partition. Times were tough, very tough. When I was young, I remember summer times, asbestos sheet roof in the house used to throw fire down the ceiling. And afternoon, we slept under the wooden bed to keep the fire off. And it was a 100 square yard resettlement colony house. And life was especially tough for me because I was sent to a public school. The place was fancy. The background from where I belonged was a mismatch to where I went. So this mismatch led to, I would say, an abused childhood. A teacher once picked up on me and says, "Hey, raffle man, you're going to get me a winning raffle ticket from your dad's shop tomorrow." Dad was in the lottery business, and raffle is another name for that. So the teacher wanted me to get him a raffle ticket, which is going to win him a prize. If it doesn't get into his hands on time, I'm going to be caned. If he gets the ticket on time, the numbers don't match to get him a prize, he's going to cane me again. So not only did I actually get caned, which is unbelievable, unbecoming of a teacher, but that's where it started. And the peer group picked up on the cue, and a kind of an abuse started out there. But the unique thing is, I grew up all along with a clear decision that I will be in the lottery business when I'm grown up. And this nature of my dad's business got me abuse, insult, browbeating, but made me more and more resolute to be in the business. It's a separate story. I not just got into that business, I was so focused, so intense that I was selling like 50 million lottery tickets a day by the time I was a little over 30. And I'd already been the country's highest income taxpayer doing that. Now, one initial lesson of life that I'd like to share with you is, stubbornness. If something got me into problem, I wanted to do that. So it was a single focus mind that got me into that. And then as I went along, the one word that started to resonate a lot with me was karma. So at some point, I started an in-house magazine called Karma. And the karma that came to my mind was environmental friendly practices. Initially, the passion was just to grow trees. And so tree planting things started to happen. And as you rightly said, 4 years into it, 10,000 trees target, 40,000 trees not happened. What to do? Start buying rural and suburban lands. And because the mission is growing trees, and for that you're buying land, the land values, even if when they grew 10 times, 100 times, and 1,000 times, I still sat on exponential returns, which is today 150,000%. So the focus on karma, the focus on intensity, this project started with the land acquisition when I was 29 years old. Today I'm 60. I'm yet to see returns in terms of cash flows. But in terms of creation of wealth and capital, it's been an amazing journey. And here we are today, Dinesh. You've been a very important part of my life because initial years of my business, the way I managed my 100 plus employees was literally like a school headmaster. Power flows from the barrel of the gun. If I walk into the office room and there are people chatting, I would feel that they're cheating on me. I'm paying them salaries to be very serious, focused, intensely working. My understanding of intense was different that time. You got to be serious. Seriousness was intense. But then I was not even 30 when I met you actually. And we talked about empowerment and how to make people co-owners of what you're doing. You got me to read a book called Love and Profit. So this book got me to understand how to conduct yourself, love before profit. Love the work you do, love the people who work with you, love the person who you've decided for very powerful reasons to sack the next few days from now. Lose your sleep, toss in the bed because you got to sack this person. So these whole things made the human that I was by the time I was in my early 30s. And I just been building upon it more and more. And here I am today. This is $1 billion uh, worth project in the unmaking. It will soon unfold. And we already have the country's most eco-friendly golf course, a beautiful resort. There's been a certain price to pay, but the journey's been worthwhile.
Thank you, Ashwani, that for beautiful summary. I remember you were always a great learner. And in the Dharamshala workshop, when Peter Block happened to be with us as well, and who can better explain empowerment than Peter Block? And in that workshop, we all discovered our personal mission. And you also discovered your personal mission. So will you talk a little bit about, that was I think in about 22, 20, 23, 24 years ago. But would you describe your mission, what you wrote then, and how that has shaped your life, and what have been the significant events and the key turning points from then on? So, and to the mission you wrote, you recently sent me a copy of that, is to creating harmony of humans with nature and spreading happiness. And of course, the byproduct is inner peace and financial abundance. Those were parts of that, what I remember. So please share.
Yeah, this is like 25 years ago.
Correct.
I committed my life to the harmony of humans with nature, and I vowed to discover true love before I die. And so this, I guess the love business came because I was in a loveless and a painful relationship at that time. So at that time, I understood is the pursuit of a lover who has a great bond with you and a great relationship. But then as time has gone on, it's love of the self that is the greatest romance on earth. And it's important to have realized that, because at that time, because I loved my children, I was in a terrible relationship. It was very painful. And I would continue to deal with that pain for the love of the children, till there came a day I realized, before even loving the children, you got to love yourself. Children were always in the crossfire. They were suffering. They were not doing well in school. They were in pain. But the drag was on because I wouldn't walk out of the situation because you don't want to hurt the children. So, in fact, writing down that mission statement with Peter Block and Dinesh Chandra right there started me up on the journey to exit from the painful relationship. I did at that time realize love is not always togetherness. Love is not always loving the other person, including your own child before you. It's not sacrifice. So first of all, if you know what love is all about, start with yourself. Once you know that, then you can love somebody else, including the Creator's creation. So it's been a wonderful self-discovery, a journey where I got out of that relationship. I had to let go of the children for a short while, and walked out alone from the house. But then I realized that worked wonders. For the love of the children, I was in painful relationship continuing. When I walked out on them, a certain negotiation happened. The children came to me, and I was always their mom, dad when I was in the problem situation. And now, without the problem, without any crossfire in which the children could be growing up, I've had them for so many years, and it's been wonderful. I had also talked about the harmony of humans with nature, which went on scaling up in terms of buying land to grow trees. Karma Lakeland's acquisition happened at that time, as I shared with you. And today we sit on $1 billion project. Now, the beauty is, I've always said, if you want something, your purpose should be larger. Here, the purpose was growing trees. The pursuit was not creation of wealth. Pretty much, if you chase a woman or chase wealth, they are elusive. That's my learning. You do your karma great, be focused, be intense, and the cosmos is going to collude favorably and get you what you want. And that's the beauty of the way things have opened up in my life.
I think the fame came to you pretty early, and at age 28, and then also recently you were recognized by NDTV as the eco warrior and the environmentalist, and you also got the prestigious awards, Kotler Achievement Lifetime Achievement Award, and so that must have been quite the egoful journey. How did you manage to kind of, but you don't live that life, you live in tremendous humility. How were you able to transcend your ego? What kind of event, something happened? How did you open your heart up? And how did you learn to surrender? Could you share something more about it?
I'll share with you. I've been last 15 years learning yoga and meditation in a very intense way. I've done a lot of sadhana with Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev, and the Kriya Yoga that I've learned has taken me to another level of being grounded, and pretty much like there have been situations in my life. I've been to jail. I've been through situations where there's been a contract on my life, and because of no ego problems, no vendetta issues, love of the self, as I said, the greatest romance. Now, if you love yourself, you're not going to live in hate. You're not going to live in vendetta. And so these situations in life, whether it was the litigation with my business partners with whom I fell apart at some point, 11 years of very intense pan-India litigation. There were like 25 legal cases all over the country. And at one point, I remember walking out of the arbitration hall with the same bunch of people, very happy. The arbitrator had already told them that the allegations against me were unfounded, and he was going to drop the proceedings against me. I just happily come out of the hall after the arbitration, and the next thing I realize is 10 cops arrest me. I'm taken in, and the next 3 weeks I spend in jail, of which 2 weeks in custodial investigation. Now, to keep the story short, first of all, the most beautiful, the most memorable period of my life, if you ask me, were these 3 weeks in jail. Because this was the culmination of the most troubled periods of my life. Trouble as in something in like 16 months' time. I had lost 2 children in a car crash. I had lost a marriage which at that time I treasured a lot. I had had tax raids, and then I was in jail. Despite that, I realized that while the external factors of my life were not in my control, my interiority, the way I would process it inside my own self, in my energies, was in my hands. I was very clear. All I had to do was, while in jail, I scaled up my yoga and meditation from 1.5 hours a day to 3 hours a day because there was nothing else to do. Sometimes I'd wake up at 4 a.m. I wouldn't have a watch. I had a few other people thrown into the same cell at night because somebody got drunk, somebody got into a brawl. So I was not in great company, but my interiority was the best. And so this was the period when I was put to test. So my yoga, my meditation, ego was no problem because since ego was no problem, happily slept on the floor. The toilet was a hole in the ground with a side wall which is about 2.5 feet, three sides, and and there was no problem. So once ego is no problem, acceptance is another thing. So whatever's coming your way, you accept, you don't resist, and you understand that it is inevitable. So once it's inevitable, you don't resist, you live in the flow. I lost two children and other stuff. But I realized, we Hindus believe in reincarnation. If somebody who dies is going to be born again, there's no death in a way. It's just the change of bodies. Now, all of us, in terms of knowledge, maybe in wisdom, minds, we know it. But to take it to the next level of acceptance, it's a different ball game altogether. And I guess I have the blessings of the master. I've been doing my sadhana, and all this worked wonders. I just sailed through unscathed, better, not bitter.
That's an amazing story of resilience. And let me turn a little bit to your professional side, the occupational side. You have created this beautiful eco resort, which is unique, one of its kind, probably around the world. And you are passionate about responsible living. Would you tell us in Karma Lakeland, how would you describe Karma Lakeland? And what is it which you are passionate about?
Dinesh, if you were to visit my WhatsApp DP with the message says, at war against honkers, litterers, smokers, and suckers, brackets of straws. Now, this was some time ago. And these are few things that represent the culture at my eco resort. We are basically all set to create a clean, green, serene, and eco-responsible gated community of like-minded people. Now, this is unique. No honking is a very unique Indian situation. You people in the US wouldn't relate what's he talking about. But out here, everybody's honking, everybody's agitated, and litter is all over, and straws, we wouldn't serve in our restaurants because of the plastic issue. And even paper straws would be given only upon request. Then this resort, we've done stuff like bee farming. The pursuit was to promote pollination, because pollination, as we all know, is very important to creating and sustaining life on the planet. If there are no bees, the life on the planet after 4 years wouldn't exist. So this is something that I had known for a while. And so the resort makes its own organic, natural, local honey. And one interesting thing that we've experimented here, and that is biocomposting of all the waste. We've got farm animals, cows, goats, chickens out there. So the other day, I went down to the farm animal side, and the goats were on top of the biomass pile, eating up the leaves and stuff. The immediate thought was, our Karma Lakelands goats are relentlessly at work making soil energizer. And they're not the only ones who do that. The goats are accompanied with the cows, the chickens, the golfers, the hotel guests, the staff. All of us do the same thing. We are all creating soil energizer. You know, between the resort, the head office, my home neighborhood, the resort neighborhood, 200,000 liters of sewage and 1 to 2 truckloads of biomass. They are merged together every day. And when you merge these two simple things together, it expedites decomposition of the biomass. The temperature of the biomass goes all the way up to something like 70 degrees Celsius. It's, you know, you put your hand inside this kind of a composting pile. We do aerobic composting. The piles are on the surface. We don't dig holes and put the biomass there. So this aerobic composting of biomass and sewage has been scaled up to an amazing level. And probably that was one clincher that got us our golf resort the most eco-friendly golf award in the country. So pollination, composting, rainwater harvesting, and and the greenest place. You know, our focus is moving from reducing grass. On the golf course, there are lots of trees. It's a mini forest come golf. And the other landscaped areas, the emphasis is in growing your own food rather than grass in the gardens. So lawns, grass would be minimum. I often joke with people, like the lockdown days in Delhi these days, there was a severe shortage of fresh vegetables. And I had no problem because we have little grass and lots of local organic vegetables growing at the resort, at the head office come residence. And I often joke with people, listen, if there's a fresh vegetables shortage, it can be possible now that the lockdowns and the corona days are here and they're to stay. Are you going to eat grass when such things happen? Or you'll grow more of your own food? So we grow our own food at Karma Lake Lands. We grow our own compost, farm animals. Now, the whole natural way of living. Farm animals give you amazing bacteria, which is earth friendly, and these are the things that are the religion to us, and we follow it pretty seriously.
No, Ashwani, as you speak, your passion just comes through so clearly. And in this pandemic times, when people are home, I think it's a beautiful opportunity for people to really think about what is their purpose, what is their life all about, and aligning it. And you are a living proof that when you align with your purpose, you have this tremendous joy. And I also want to know, I have people I have met, they are aligned with their purpose, they have done well, but somehow financially they don't do well. And you know, if financially you have not done well, then you can't sleep well. And if you can't sleep well, then if you're always worried about money, then you're going to have a not very healthy life. So what has been your relationship with money, and how you have been able to not only pursue your purpose and your inner calling, but you're also able to maintain a very healthy relationship with money and generate a tremendous amount of capital for, you know, the whole earth and for all the people. What is the secret?
I tell you, my mantra is abundance. If the spirit with which you deal with money is abundance, you're happy to let go of money where required. You're not stingy, nor you're a spendthrift. See, if ego doesn't drive you, you don't need a Ferrari, even if you have all the money that could buy you the Ferrari. You may buy a Ferrari because you want that experience, but if you want to buy it because you want to feel the guy with the one of the fanciest vehicles on the road, then you'll meet somebody who has a private plane and he'll make you feel small. So my relationship with money is that I'm austere but not stingy. I don't have the ego problems. And actually, I don't count money. Like often, my children studied overseas in the most expensive colleges all over the globe. If somebody asked me, and it happened, what kind of fee structure is so and so college in the US or UK? I actually didn't even know whether I'm paying $100,000 a year for this child's college fee or it's $15,000. All I knew was there was a method to my madness. That there's a discipline, there's a balance, and on the other side, there's abundance. I know I'll be able to pay the bills because there's a larger balance going on. But I don't get into the minor side of things. And for example, I brought up my children. There was no budgets for the children. They would ask for whatever amount of money. I would give them a couple of dollars more. Even today, they ask me for 10,000 rupees. I'd probably pull out 15 and give it to them. If you see any of my children, you'd be surprised. They don't look like children of a man who pays so much of taxes, who's created so much of wealth. They're down to earth, they're middle class children. None of them drives a Mercedes or any foreign car. There are 5 foreign cars at home. None of the children touches any one of them. Only sparingly, the boy will come up, Dad, I'm in a mood to indulge today. Can I take up the GLS? I never say no. But they've grown up without budgets, without any constraints on how much they can spend. And the same concept of abundance has gone on to them. So when there's abundance, whenever there are problems, like pandemic times, there are migrants stuck up, busloads of people are being sent back to their homes. I'm sponsoring and supporting them. I don't even count where is the money coming from, where is it going. It's going for a good cause. There's abundant amount of it. The humanity needs this thing at this time. You got to do it. And there you are. So this is pretty much my relationship with money. I think I'm the master. It is not the master.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now let's go a little bit into the lockdown times. And I think there are two prevalent beliefs if you talk to people and friends. Some people are just waiting to go back to the old situation again, what they call back to the normal, maybe in 6 months, maybe in a year, maybe in 2 years, where there are other people who believe that there is no going back to the normal. We have changed forever, and we are transforming as a whole humanity. And we are transforming in the sense that our health is become a major issue because people are now caring for some of their health issues, at least the ones which are in their control, the diet and the sleep and all those things, because they know that if your health is not well, then you have a higher risk of getting the pandemic. Similarly, I think relationship. I predict that the number of relationships which are going to be breaking up or people are going to be moving forward is going to increase because people have never been together for such a long time together. So it's really testing you if you are able to really accept each other and survive with each other and grow. And then, of course, money. People are really worried about their businesses, if they are, or their jobs, and what will happen. So what is your belief? Are we in for a new world? Are we changing everything forever? And are we going to see, if whatever is the case, how can one prepare for this new world in health and relationships and in money and so on?
One thing, this pandemic and almost 7 billion people locked up in their own homes is going to result in is a lot of children after a few months. Yes, there'll be a lot of breakups and divorces. There will be some status quos as well. And a few relationships, I promise you, mine is one of them, which would come out better than what it used to be before the pandemic. But largely there'll be lots of children and lots of breakups. And yes, the world is not going to be the same again.
So, talking about your relationships, what is the contribution and participation of your life partner, Dicky, now in this whole where you are in your life?
See, there's a saying, behind every successful man, there's a woman surprised. Or they also say, behind every successful man, there's a woman pushing him forward. I promise you, mine is not surprised. She's pushing me forward. Not just pushing me forward, she's coming along with me. See, the between the two of us, I'm the eco passion and I'm the speaking part of the company. She's the doer. So she actually executes. She works. I'm surprised. She'll be seen on a biomass pile with fresh sewage flowing in on top of the pile and just be moving around the pipe. She's got literally sewage on her clothes, on her hands. She works on the kitchen gardens. At a smaller level at home, 8 acres is not very small a level though. And then in the 300 acres resort as well. So while I do the talking, I sign the checks, she does the real work on the ground, empowering the 50 people who work with her, how to, her fight, for example, always is irrigate less. If you put less water on the grass roots are going to go deep looking for water. If you over irrigate, the grass roots are going to get lazy. They'll stay at the top. You don't want a grass or any plant which does not grow deep roots. So, her daily fights with the people, a happy fight, collaborative work actually, I see her doing is minimizing water for irrigation, getting back some results, handling the poo. So she's a true partner, We do our own things. I do the talking, she does the working. Works very well.
And how is your social life? What are you doing in pandemic times to celebrate your?
Interestingly, she and I, we know 6 different forms of Latin and Argentinian dances. We met many years ago in the dance class. I was going through a terrible time in my marriage, so was she in her life. So on a rebound, we had not only the dance companionship, but a little romance. Then we went back to working on our family lives. Nothing worked right. Eventually, today means last 8 years, we are together. And dance being the common hobby, pandemic time especially, almost every day, about an hour, we dress up properly. We're not stepping out at all. We dress up properly as if we're going out to a fancy party, and we do our dance practices. Tango is the flavor of the season, and it's a very romantic, very meditative dance. It's not like a workout. So if you want to dance for the purpose of a workout, tango is not your form. Then you got to do some different stuff. So we do tango, and so dancing is one. Another very interesting thing is we do hands-on farming. We grow our own food. We work in the soil ourselves. There's a saying, if you walk bare feet, your feet on the soil, your hands touch mud every day, some kind of earthing of your energies happens. You're grounded, your egos would be in place, your body energies would be in perfect vibrance. So as I said, few people whose romance would be enhanced in these pandemic times. We are contesting for that. We're also contesting for the most eco-friendly, the best gardens, the best food growing couple in town. All these things we are busy doing together. We have no extra time to worry what's going to happen to the world. We are too busy in our own world.